Hi guys. Today we're going to discuss the virtues of being a twin flame, what it actually means, how to become one, how to activate it, and how to get out of toxic relationships that are not that, how to know that you are genuinely in a twin flame union, or how to become one so that you can have one. That's probably the better way to say that. So, this is really easy, okay? The way that you know that you are in a genuine twin flame relationship, okay? And first of all, let me just say this. A lot of people say it's not real, it doesn't exist, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. That's because you don't know how to be one. It's real, okay? The reason you know that it's real is because everything in the universe lines up positive and negative, down to your batteries. The whole program is written in ones and zeros. Counterpart and the energies match. Yin yang. Okay? Now, let me correct some perceptions. Let me help you guys out. And let me help you understand this union because I am one. Okay? So, how do you know if you really are that? Well, here's how you know. You've become the constant. Okay? You have realized you are the light of the world. Every single human being, no exceptions, is you. And you know it. Now, the twin flame may help you realize that because we can't look into our own eyes, but once seen, we can't unsee it. Okay? So, a genuine twin flame is not fooled by the illusion of other bodies. They are one with the entire universe, and as such, act like the 5D being that must be unified in order to be in union in 3D. So this does not occur outside of you, this occurs inside of you. Until you are unified completely, till the outer becomes like the inner, until you can switch one foot for the other foot, a head for an eye for an head, all of it. Until the inside and the outside look identical, you will not understand the union. You are not in a union. You are still confused and still asleep in the illusion. There are no others. Okay? A real twin flame knows this. They know there are no others at all. Okay? So in truth, you have become the constant. It really doesn't matter which body you choose because all bodies are you. This is the confusion that people talk about when they say that twin flames are not real. What they're not understanding, oh yeah, they're real, all right, but it's the relationship you think you are in, the relationship is with you. Okay, so a twin flame, a 5D genuine twin flame, has become one with the source light and therefore has recognized every single body on earth as their own. Scripture has been fulfilled. There's a narcissist here, there's someone chasing me there. None of this is going on. Okay? None of it. If that's what's going on, you are divided, you reject your own experiences, and you still have wounds that need to be healed. Which is why the union is not harmonious. See, when you're healed, your union is harmonious. So what you want to do is activate this energy within yourself. And it is a very self-sufficient energy, okay? As women, we are the whole man that is woman. Okay? So I'm not talking about gender so much as I'm going to talk about this feminine energy. Okay? This feminine energy is both masculine and feminine in one being. What you are seeing as the universe is your universal shadow. The whole thing is you. Okay? In a twin flame union, it really doesn't matter which body you choose. Okay, so if you're obsessing over one specific body, can I just tell you that's your problem? That you are the reason for the division. You are the reason you are not with your love. You see, because the body in itself is illusions. I know as a genuine twin flame, I trade places with anyone I want. Okay? Anyone. My daughter, my partner, anyone. My mother, the stranger on the street. Okay? Because as the light, we have discovered that we are not our bodies. And as such, it really doesn't matter who we choose. So we have reached the full-on story of the Princess of Kashi moment that is told in the Vedantic tales. Okay? If you are not familiar with that story, it's a very simple story of a young man whom at the time they had a play and they needed a female to play the role of the princess in the play. And the little boy was so little, he was 5 years old when he was asked to put on the costume. Okay, and he was such a cute little prince, a cute little boy, that when he put on the costume of a little girl, he was perfect for the role. So cute that they painted his portrait, and then it got put away over the years, and then later he looks at it, stumbles across it, and falls in love with his own image. So he doesn't know, and he starts behaving badly. Not badly as in badly. I mean as in, you know what I'm talking about when you got it bad for someone and you and you're not yourself. And so people noticed that he wasn't being himself. And they asked him what was going on, and he finally confessed that he was in love, and everybody was so excited for him, right? So then he says, well, can you show me who she is? Tell me who she is. And so he said, well, I haven't met her yet. I've only seen her picture. And so as a result, they realize that, and he gets told in the story, I'm paraphrasing and going as quickly as I can on the story. They realize in the end, the little boy is told, you're not in love with a person, you're in love with the image or your counterpart energy. You dressed up as this is you. And in that moment, the young man the spell was gone. It's me. This is the energy that you have to have in order to activate your twin flame. You have to know that the entire universe is your image. You have to be at peace with everything. You have to be in love with all the experiences that made you you. You can't reject anything. You can't question your worth. You cannot question the value of who you are. You cannot question whether you are the prize. None of this is ever going to help you find your twin. Okay? Because if these are the problems within you, your partner has no choice but to show up as the deficit in you. This is why, if you want to activate this and have the ultimate of all ultimate unions, what you are doing is activating the Adam and Eve template in your brain. Okay? And when I say Adam and Eve, I want to say this has nothing to do with male and female as bodies, but as energy. Okay? Because everyone has both. What you're doing is honoring the other half of your brain by acknowledging that the entire universe is you. Okay? Now, if you have not figured this out and you think you're in a twin flame union and you're obsessing over their absence, you are already doing it wrong. They don't exist outside of your skull. They don't. Okay? What I teach is to find the world within that helps you unify with your partner. And you do that by bridging the illusion of the universe between you. You become the universe that they are. You know, in such a way that, how do I say it? It's almost comical. You realize in every instant you're having a conversation with yourself. You realize that there is absolutely no separation. You see yourself and identify, everybody is you pushed out, this main template is absolutely real. So when you activate this within you, because you hyper focus and choose on you, like you're okay with everything that's happened, you're okay with your world and how it looks like. If you want to work on stuff, you can, but you know that it's your mental construct and your design. You're not judging, you're not finding anything wrong with you. Okay, when you really step into that role, you will discover that you are the constant. And so I want to describe what this means for you, because I can only use myself as an experience, okay? It means you can't outrun yourself. You can't outrun yourself, okay? It means no matter what relationship that you get into, no matter what body that you choose, I don't care about gender, I'm talking about physical body. This body is your mirror. Your job is to realize you are your person. If you are not realizing that you are your person, you will be in division. You have to be. You're going to create the universe between you. And so it's going to feel like you can't be with your love. And you're going to make things up, because time and space are illusions that we make in our mind first, and then they're displayed outside. So you're going to make divisions. You're going to create other cities that they live in. You're going to create other countries. You're going to wonder how and where and all of this stuff. And you're going to sit here and wonder all of these things that you have full and complete autonomy over. Your story. It is your job to realize that the only thing on display is your story. That's it. It's your story. And so what you're seeing outside is your image. When you know this, and you have fulfilled scripture this way, and you know that you are one soul in two bodies because you have become God, undivided, that's when you experience the twin flame union. But if you don't identify with being your person, you're the reason for the division. Because your person can only be made in your image. It is your reflection. This is always true. What I'm saying is true of everyone. It's always true. But what I'm asking you to do is become aware of it so you can experience what it's like to live the life of a twin flame. The experience is available to everybody. It is an ancient template that has been in your head for a long time. The Greeks tried to describe it in Plato, where he said that we used to be united. The way that they describe twin flames is that we used to be these human beings with two heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs, to give you the idea that there's 2 bodies in the energy is counterpositioned so that we look different, but we are the same. The reason that you have to unify within your story first is because without that unification in your story, you cannot experience the unification outside of you. It's made in your head first. That's the most important part. If you are not unified in your mind, because at least 51% of the time or more, you're thinking about their absence, or when are you going to meet, or doing all sorts of things that create divisions, then you don't get to experience that. Okay? A genuine twin flame will not apply 3D concepts to their relationship. So this whole runner thing, this whole ego thing, these are 3D concepts. They're outdated, and they have nothing to do with a 5D union. Okay? I know it sounds kind of crazy, right? Nothing exists outside of your skull. But it's true. The world that you see is behind your eyes. And so the most important thing you can ever do to be with your beloved is to know that you are your beloved. That's how you activate it. That's how you activate it, I swear. Okay? Then once you do that, let me explain what happens to 3D. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter where you choose to go. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you see. In all instances, you will know that it's you. You will be able to break down the 3D illusion into your memories. You'll be able to see things in such a way that you could choose Minnesota or Melbourne, Australia, and the cities look the same. The same. You could choose Jamaica, or you could choose French Polynesia. I don't care. The illusion itself collapses completely. It collapses. You stop desiring them completely because you know it's you. You become the source of everything in your life. You are fully aware that you are everything in your life. And so once you start emitting that frequency, knowing like you know, because you know, because 3D showed up and showed you and demonstrated your omnipresence. So you have risen above the world and have realized you are the light within it. That's how you activate your twin flame. That's how the 5D calls the 3D being home. This is a real thing. It's a real thing. I promise you it's a real thing. But until you become the constant, until you realize, until you flip that perception, instead of looking out there, you go, and you do a 360-degree turn and you look only at you. And you realize what you're seeing outside is you all the time. That's when you can have him or her. I don't care who you choose. I don't care. The body in itself is an illusion. Okay? I don't care if you choose male or female, if you're a man with a man, if you're a woman with a woman. I don't care. It has nothing to do with the gender of the body. It has everything to do with realizing you are the entire universe. When you can do that, and you can physically see it on 3D, you will know that twin flames are real, and you will call your twin home. It's the magic formula. And I say this only because it's my life. I can only use myself as an example. I don't have a stranger anymore. Ever. Okay? Do you know how many perfect strangers that I've never met before on any part of the country? Like anywhere. I don't care if they're in Sweden. I don't care if they're in Croatia. I don't care if they're in Dubai. I don't care if they're in France. I don't care if they're in Australia. I don't care if they're anywhere in the globe. Anywhere. You have to admit, this is kind of cool. Okay. Anywhere in the globe. And they don't know me, but they'll talk to me. And as soon as they talk to me, I'll recognize myself. And I'm like, oh, I'm having another conversation with myself, so this is great. This is awesome. And so I'm trying to describe the vibe that you have to emanate in order to feel and know what this is. This is why I'm spending time on it, okay? Because at the end of the day, feeling is the secret. And if you don't know what it feels like, then at least let me describe what happens in 3D so that you know what this vibe does. Okay? So I don't have a stranger at all. And so people come to me for advice. Okay? And when they come for me for advice, it'll be a situation I'm dealing with in my own home right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. All right. So it's a physical evidence, yes, but you are not looking outside of you for validation, okay? You are looking inside of you until 3D conforms in your image. But it is a vibe. It is a vibe that has to be undivided. You have to be one with God. 100%. Okay? What that means is, and this is silly, but you can't say things like, everyone in the world's an idiot. You know, things like this. Okay? It's a judgment. It's a very erroneous judgment, because what we've done is not judge the world, we've judged our shadow. And the only thing we're seeing is our shadow, is our experience. Okay? So when you know this, what happens is there's this amazing flip. There's this amazing, amazing flip. And suddenly, anybody you look at and consider as a romantic partner wants you. Wants you bad. Wants you with every fiber of their being. They can't eat, they can't sleep. They've experienced the force that calls them home. It's not an effort, it's not something you try to do. It's not something that you're not even playing games. It's never about playing games either. It's like, no, it's not a game. It is, however, the fact that you are now officially undivided. You've healed the rift between yourself and God, the imaginary one. And when you do that, there is no division in the world. You suddenly see the veil and you realize time and space is nothing but your mirror, and the source images is inside, not outside of that. And so as a result, you start being hyper focused on that instead. That's where our power is. That's where it's got to be. Nowhere else. Okay? But if you're making a lot of effort, if you're making a lot of excuses, if you've forgotten that this is you, then you will live in division. You'll live in division until you can see your mental construct. Our only job is to become them and rest in that knowledge. The only way to become them and rest in that knowledge is to know that the whole universe is you. So what you've done in that exact moment, like when you really truly see it, okay, is you've eliminated all imaginary space and time deficits. You became the universe in order to eliminate the space and time deficit. So now what's happening, because I'm literally describing what's happening in your brain so that you can see what happens in 3D. What happens when you do that, you eliminate the space between you two, and it's like a suction cup. It's like a chicle. In Spanish, we call it chicle when something sticks to you, right? Like a pulley. Okay? And the reason this is, I'm describing everything I can see. Like I can see through walls, right? So I'm describing what's happening at the highest levels of our existence. All right. So this is so fun. What's happening is simple. As feminine energy, regardless of body, okay? I want to say this again. As feminine energy, you represent the subconscious heart of all matter. The Egyptians tried to tell you this when they made the tomb, the Egyptian tombs, the pyramids. They put the queen underneath the king in the grave. The pyramids actually represent our brain. It's a replica of it, and they understood that. And so why is this so important? Because the feminine energy is the vortex. She's the vortex. Okay? that energy inside of you, regardless of gender, this is the vortex. This represents the bottom chamber of your brain. See how it's under, the man and the woman are one's on top of the other, but it doesn't mean what you think it means? Okay. The bottom chamber sits in complete darkness because it is all things at once. It's everything. Because our mind, the masculine side of our brain, works like a little flashlight inside a huge darkened warehouse, okay? The masculine side of our brain can pinpoint only a fraction of everything. So it creates a void, it creates a force, it creates a magnetic force. Okay? When you stand perfectly in the middle, fully aware that you are both and you are comfortable in the void, you are comfortable alone, you've reached bucket mode. Yeah? Bucket mode. What is that bucket mode? Bucket mode is the indifference needed so that you don't serve as your own resistance. The indifference that you need, and that indifference, I don't mean that you don't want something. I mean, it's the sort of indifference that knows that if you manifest a free cup of coffee, it's not a big deal because you can make your own at any point in time. That kind of indifference. Okay? When you have reached that level and you can stand inside your vortex and you can be still and know that you are your partner, you will bring your partner home. They cannot resist this force. They cannot. Okay? And for those of you that want to question it, how many of you have been on the receiving end of that crush? That soul crushing energy that you feel like a little rag doll because you feel helplessly at their mercy. So you know the energy I'm talking about. You want to be the one emitting this frequency. Okay? 3D then shows up as the harmonious union. And there will be plenty of options. Plenty. Maybe a few too many. But I'd rather choose between the cream of the crop of my own best experience that I love and choose that body consciously than unconsciously choose a relationship. I'm still going to choose me, okay? But I'm going to unconsciously choose the things that I need to fix, work on, or whatever. Now, the shortcut is fix, work on yourself, big time, become the person that you want to be, then know you are that person. That's all you have to do. They come. Believe me, they come. Promise. No one can withstand this force. No. This is the same magnetic force that messes with electronics. This is the same magnetic force that turns on equipment in the other side of the room, and your partner just looks at you and stares at you funny because, you're the magnetic one. And it's obvious. Okay? So activate this within you. If you are not in union, if you have someone in mind, or if you don't have someone in mind, it doesn't matter. If you have someone in mind, realize you are that person and stand still. If you don't have someone in mind, that's okay. People are so easy to manifest. Do you know my best client? Like, by best client, I mean, she's my favorite because everything I say to her, she applies and instantly gets results. Like, instantly, because she applies it. Right? But she's my favorite because she calls me and says, Sin, It just worked. And if you saw the rock on her finger for verification purposes, it's huge. But she listened. So I'm giving you the cream of the cream of the cream of the crop type of knowledge here. If you are looking for a union, give it to yourself first. Be undivided within you. When you are undivided, I swear to God, I swear on my life, God does the rest. This is a template. This is a program that's running in your brain. It only exists there. But if you can master this, I'm not lonely, I'm totally cool, and I know you're coming. And I know because I know because I know. Then believe me, what your 3D partner experiences, something I call being the puppet master, right? So the way they've described it to me is it feels like they're a marionette on a string and they have no control, and they feel like I'm above going. Literally, that's what I've been told. And that's kind of what it's like, because you know everybody is your body. And so as such, you really do have that much control. It's crazy, but true. Okay? So, yes, twin flames are real. It is a state within you. It is a state available to every human being on earth. Yes, you have a counterpart energy. No, it has nothing to do with physical gender. It's just energy. Okay? But until you master being in love with your reflection, all of it, being in love with the universe, seeing through the facade of separation, then you can't serve as your own twin. You can't serve as your own twin. But let me tell you how literal your brain is. My daughter just had twins. So my brain made me twins, just to remind me that I was. My mother's nickname for me, Corazón de Melón, which I had no idea what it meant. It was a term of endearment in Spanish, but it really refers to being a twin flame. Had I not examined all of the experiences that made me me, I wouldn't be able to see this, now would I? So, think about what I'm saying. It is really easy when you are in love with every experience that formed you. And healing is not that difficult. You're already healed. You're just embracing a concept that isn't. So if you want to be healed, embrace the concept in which you're healed. But to do that, that means you're not judging the world anymore as separate from you. You're in love with the experiences that made you you. And every human being you see, you look at like the Greek god Narcissus, who was looking at his own reflection and fell in love. The only mistake he made, and the reason that he died in the myth, is because he didn't realize it was him. Like in The Princess of Kashi, the reason he didn't desire his princess anymore is because he realized it was him. These stories, these myths are there to serve you. Do this, and I promise, heart and all, swear on the cross as the heart of all matter, you will be with your partner. You will be with your partner. I promise. The universe itself is made of heart and mind energy, masculine and feminine. This is the image the entire universe is made in. Without which you don't get the illusion of others. But it is something happening here and here that allows you to be the projector for what you're seeing. And I know this. I know this. Do you know why I know this? Because I'm behind the veil. And the universe can't trick me anymore. It cannot trick me anymore. So I've risen above the world and I have been raptured. And I know that sounds insane. I know. I didn't believe it either. But that's what happens. That's what happens. You see through your own mental construct to rise above it. And then you understand, oh my God, my experience made every single body out there. You see it. It's so visible. It's so visible and so obvious that the next person that wants to be with you will call you their universe. They'll look at you and they'll say, oh my God, you were all my exes. You were my mom, my dad. You were the energy. You're that energy? Holy fuck. That's you. Trust me. Trust me, that's what happens. And when they love you that hard, you start to glow. You glow even more than you already were because you've mastered yourself. And you're receiving the energy you've always deserved. And you realize something even better. You can never be without your partner. Ever. Ever. Because you're carrying it here. Right there. Connection here. Okay? I didn't mean for this to be long, so I'm just going to say one last thing. There is a non-binary code running in your brain that is neutral. It is neither masculine or feminine. It is both at the same time. Okay? This master code runs your soul. That is not physically a man or a woman. This non-binary code is the one you are looking for in your mind and looking to emit. Two things happen. As you emit this, you don't need your partner at all. You don't need them at all. It's crazy, but you just don't feel a need. Okay? I'm not saying you don't get to enjoy them. Please understand the difference. I said you don't feel a need for them. You're not lonely for them. You're not missing them. The act of missing someone is creating the division, so pay attention. Do not miss them. Do not feel lonely. These feelings don't feel good for a reason, because you're creating the division you're trying to salvage. All right. So you want to activate this code, and you want to be the one with your cup overflowing. So you want to feel perfectly fine by yourself. You want to be perfectly without any kind of need for them. Okay? And then you start emitting this love frequency, this love energy, right? You start emitting that. And you want to be so comfortable emitting that energy that you are not seeking their validation. So that if you say, I love you, you are not afraid of them not saying it back. They don't have to say it back. I need you not to be afraid to say it. Okay? And you need to have the level of peace that says, I don't need you to love me back for me to love you. You just stand in the power of that love. And you trust in that because that is the force through all, in all, because it is all. And if you don't become that force, how can you make it work for you? Okay? Become this force. It is self-sufficient. It doesn't need anything. Okay? Your next job is to see that person in the absolute best light. So if you are a goddess, you make him God. If you're a god, you make her the goddess. I don't care. I don't care. Because it works both ways. And you honor that divine frequency that brings you together. And you trust that that work is done here, inside of you. When you have stepped into your construct that strongly, they can't resist you. They can't resist you. But what's cool is, while you're working on this, you will notice a few things happen in 3D. A few things like you tried to separate from your partner, it come right back. Like, you're kind of like, wait a minute, what just happened here? Okay? That is helpful because that's the moment you realize that your shadow and your light are the same being. Your physical other vessel is you. And so until you become the control panel in here, that marionette's the other one, because you know you're the light so you can see the shadow perfectly, you're going to experience some divisions. But the only reason you'd experience those divisions is because you're convinced that he exists outside of you. Or she. He or she. You're convinced of that. So then 3D, what does 3D have to show you? The space between you. In your construct. So bridge that divide. And anyone can be a twin flame. It is merely a program in your head that gets activated with your own self-love. Okay. That's it, you guys. I hope that, think about what I'm saying. Think about it, think about it, think about it. This is literally the secret formula. Believe me, you want to be on the receiving end of that. That's your self-love mastery. It feels good. It feels good. Love you guys.